the brand new Anytone tri-band DMR D578 Mobile Radio coming up today on Ham Radio 2.0.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, good afternoon. I'm Jason, KC5HWB, and this is Ham Radio 2.0, where we discuss reviews and how-tos of anything that's new in amateur radio. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing below and smashing that thumbs up button for me. All right, the long-awaited by me, because this radio was announced like 2 to 3 years ago, and it's gone through several renditions and several versions, and they said, oh no, we're going to do this with it, and then we're going to do this with it, and then we're going to do this with it. So this is actually in my hand right now, and actually these have started shipping already. So I don't want to make it sound like it is brand new. They just started shipping a couple weeks ago at the time of this recording. I'd had this for about a month or so, month and a half. I was asked to do some beta testing on it. Very appreciative to the folks who entrusted me to do some of that. But but they're shipping now. There's several companies out there doing it. I am very happy to report that my good friends over at R&L Electronics are carrying this radio, which if I can pull this up here, once again, you should go here every day and refresh this page to see what their daily special is. But they do have the D578, too close to the microphone there, right there, and it says in stock. The Pro model's in stock. So the one I have is the Pro model, okay? The Pro model basically means that it has both APRS and Bluetooth, okay? If you are inside of the United States, they are all tri-band. But if you're overseas, outside of the United States, where they don't have 1.25 meter privileges, they are dual band. Now, realistically, and I'm not going to show you how to do it because I don't even really know, honestly, but it's the same radio inside, so it can be hacked. I've talked to people overseas that said, oh yeah, I went in there and changed that. Okay. You still don't have 1.25 meter you still don't have 1.25 meter privileges even if you are using, even if you have a 220 enabled radio. I kind of think the whole securing the radio to only the bands you can use is stupid anyway, because it's not illegal to have a radio that'll transmit out of band. It's just illegal to transmit out of band. Okay? It's kind of like the speedometer on your car. It goes up to 120 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour. That doesn't mean you can do 140 down the highway. That's just what the speedometer goes to. Same thing. Anyway, enough of that. Y'all don't want to hear about that today. Y'all want to hear about this radio. So, no detachable face. Okay, so people who were asking about that, sorry, the face does not detach. Let's get a shot. In fact, let me change to this this view right here, and this is it's got a speaker on the top here. It has the programming cable is a micro USB connection right there on the side that you can see. The size of the radio is about the size of a Kenwood V71A, roughly. Now, there was a couple of different renditions of the microphone. You can see this one right here has the microphone, and it has, in the center there, it has the 4 holes in the center are filled in. So there's holes here, 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 and here, not in the center. The very first microphones had all of these holes open, the 4 holes in the center open. And I guess they found that it was too hot, picked up too much background noise or something, so they changed that about halfway through the beta testing. So you might check that and make sure you got the correct microphone, which you probably did. If you bought it retail, you should have gotten the correct microphone. One SO2, let me get this where I can see it here, where you can see it here. One SO239, it's got a fan on the back, regular T connector for the power cable, and right here is a GPS antenna because it has GPS and APRS built into the radio. So, I'll pull this up here and zoom back a little bit where I can see this better. Oh, that's as far as it goes. Okay, so let's just go there. So this is the box it came out of. Comes with a mounting bracket, so it's already got more stuff in the box than an ICOM does. let's see. That's your GPS antenna right there. And this is where the microphone was. And then it's got regular cable there. And it comes with, of course, a standard, everyday, regular old micro USB cable to program with. Some extra fuses and screws for the bracket and whatnot. So the box itself is just, you know, nothing extra special in it. Anytone D578 right there. So what I want to do is hook this thing up, and the biggest question I have is, and I already know this, but for your sake, I'll just go ahead and ask this question. Will the radio load a code plug from your 868 or 878 HT? You're going to have to rebuild a whole code plug? Or are you going to be able to move the microphone in? Or are you going to be able to just load the existing code plug you have if you have an Anytone HT? Let's check. Okay, here we see I got my meter in line with it. My MFJ 873. Special thanks to MFJ for both this power supply and meter. This MFJ 4230 DMP power supply is 30 amp power supply and very lightweight with a great readout on the front. But you can see, I mean, if you're familiar with the meter on the top or the power supply on the bottom, you can see the screen on the radio and how it compares. I think that I can, let's see. Yes, there we go. Zoom in a touch there. The screen on the 578 is basically the same size as the 878. There's not much difference in screen size. It's very, very similar. In fact, it may be the exact same screen. I don't know. I haven't put a tape measure on it, but for a mobile radio, the screen is kind of small. Now, I say that after beta testing using this radio for several weeks now. I love it. It's a great radio. Okay, there's a few little quirks about it, and there's a few things. I've seen at least 3 renditions of the firmware at this point in time, so it's not 100% yet, but I think it's pretty darn good. So let's go, let me go over here, move over to that side, and you can see here, I am on, oops, no. I'm on firmware version 1.02, which was the first version of firmware that the radio had when I got it. So I've never actually updated it. So all the testing I've done has been with the original firmware, which they've made a lot of different changes to. They had a 103, and I don't remember if they went to 104 or not, but they have the current one is 105 at the time of this recording. And it changes several things. So what I want to do is, and the reason I've got the meter on it, is what I want to do is I want to take, I want to shoot a code plug into it, enable VFO through the CPS. I'm going to show you guys the CPS. And then we're going to key up simplex analog channels on all 3 bands and see what kind of power output they do. Because one of the complaints early on was that the 220 band was not outputting 25 watts as it should. I do not know. I haven't tested yet at the time of this recording if they fixed that on the latest firmware. They've improved it over the course of the last firmwares. I know that much, but I don't know if it's completely up to 25 watts yet, which is where it's advertised to be for the 220 band. So let me hook up a couple of things and see what we see here. All right, this is pretty cool. What I did here, if you see on the side, right there, this USB cable, which is just a standard micro USB cable. The one that came with the radio is not long enough because my computer's on the floor against the wall behind me, okay? So, in fact, this is the one that came with the radio. So I went inside and got myself a longer micro USB cable, plugged it up, and it works. Well, I say it works. I actually haven't launched the software to see if it'll read it yet. But Windows came up and said, hey, we've installed your device and you're ready to go. So that is good. So let's go here to that. And I'm going to launch. This is the firmware changelog. So we're going to update the firmware here real quick. Let's go to radio and 578. there. Let's see if it'll read from the radio. Other data. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, right. Yeah, so on the Anytone, you have to go in and set the port. COM1. Oh, I've got my virtual COM ports in here for my Flex radio. COM. It was set to COM1 before. Let's set it to COM6. I don't know why it's doing that. There it goes. Yep, COM6. Okay, now let's try to read. And there we go. COM6. Okay. It read, okay, so it read the radio. Okay, you see the code plug on the screen. That is the information that it read from the stock radio. The radio has been reset back to factory. From the stock radio, this is how it reads with a cable that did not come with the radio. So that's pretty cool. You know, I gotta say that's pretty darn cool. So let me go here, and what I want to do is open my 878 code plug, which is actually in need of updating, but we can do some of that. Date modified 878 plus. Yeah, see, I haven't updated that thing since August, about 3 months ago. So let's open that. Load file, okay. All right. So that all right there looks good. I've got too much information in here. I need to do a whole new video on building a code plug from scratch. Digital, let's see. I'm looking for, because I know for, there's talk groups. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I know for somehow, somehow Texas statewide got skipped in this code plug. 3147 goes to 3153. What was I drinking at the time that that happened? I don't really even know. Let's see. It's Texas chat. Texas statewide's at the very bottom, so I added it later. Okay. Yeah, see, Texas statewide Weatherford is listed as being on the worldwide talk group, so which is wrong. So let's change that to well, these are not in any order at all, are they? Nope. Not in the order they are in the... There it is. Texas statewide. Okay. Yep, that's it. Okay, good. So, okay. Let's just go get my... I'm going to find my... That's the Weatherford repeater. That's not too far from me. I'm going to go here. There it is. Oh, that's already changed. Okay, well, that's good. Texas State DMR link. Color code... no. Color code 1's not... Oh, yeah, it is. Never mind. I'm thinking a time slot. Dar. Okay, so that's all good. So we're going to go ahead and try to write. I want to make sure that it's got my... Yep, there's my radio ID. Actually, for the mobile radio... I'm going to use a different ID, my original ID, 3148062. Okay to that. And we're going to write to this radio. Yes. Other data. I don't want to write digital contacts yet. We'll get to that later. Band error. Okay, so I found the firmware update instructions. And we're going to go... Oh, you guys can't see that. I forgot what camera I was on. Not that one. That one right there. Okay. Firmware update instructions. Power the radio on. Press and hold both the menu and exit keys and power the radio off. You may see a non-relevant message on the display, but keep holding the 3 buttons, including the power button, I guess is what it means, until you get the blinking red light over the power off button. Okay? Red LED light should now be blinking. Radio has entered firmware update mode, DFU mode. Use the USB cable to connect. Open the computer and go. Okay, so let me show what it's going to look like when I do that. So the radio is powered off right now. So I'm going to power the radio on. Booting, please wait. And it says to hold down the menu and exit keys, which is the bottom two keys here and there, and to power the radio off. So that's what I'm gonna do that right now. Okay. I thought I let go of it, but it's blinking red. So that only took a couple of seconds. That was good. Okay. Now, use the USB cable. We've already got that. I'm going to switch back over here to the screen view so you guys can see what's going on there. Right there, here. Okay. Go to CPS, go to Tools, Firmware Update. And, you know, the rest of this is kind of standard if you've done this before through the with the handheld version, one of the handheld versions of the radio. So we're going to go here. All right. Firmware update. Yes, Windows. There we go. Let me just make sure that this is okay. Open file D578UV.SPI file. Check the COM port. Make sure it's correct. We know we're on COM 6 due to the code plug read earlier. Right button. After the firmware is updated finished, you must perform a reset MCU reboot. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. So let's do the firmware update. COM 6 is where I want to be. Right there. That's fine. Update file. Radio. No, that's not where I want to be. This one. 105 SPI. That's 105 dated 11/18, November 18th of 2019. File open succeeded. Right. I'm just going to leave this at 921,600 COM speed. That's where it was. The light is still flashing on the front of the radio. Yes. And there it goes. Let's see how long that takes. Go ahead, I'll go over there and read this real quick. So to reset the radio, press and hold the two front panel keys P2 and the press and hold the two front panel keys P2 and the channel knob. Okay. The one above the microphone connect. Okay, so you must be able to press that knob in. Okay. Haven't tried that. Hold two keys while turning the radio on, and it will reboot the radio into reset mode. The reset screen will appear, and you confirm. The reset itself will take a minute or more. Click confirm. After completing, the calibration date setting screen will open. You need to correct information, go through GMT date and time, etc. After successfully resetting the radio, your code plug will be gone, and the factory smaller version of the code plug, I guess. You should now load your saved code plug into the radio. Okay, good. So we couldn't do that anyway before. Good. All right, we're at 90%. That didn't take too long. Right, complete. Okay, so the radio, let me move over here and show you. So the radio LED stopped flashing. The LED above the power button there on the left, right there, was flashing until it stopped. And now the radio does not reboot itself. So let's reboot the radio. Okay. That looks good. Okay. Okay, good. Now let's do the MCU reset. What they're calling the MCU reset or reboot. that there. Hold down while turning the radio, turning on the radio. Okay, so let's power it back off. Okay. Now, get my microphone here, make sure it's right. Okay, now it's telling me, so, yeah, you can press this knob here. This channel knob right here does press in. So it's telling me to press this and the P2 key right there, and then power on while holding those two down. This is hard to do because the knobs are so far away from one another. There we go. That didn't take but a second, so that's good. Confirm. Initialize radio. The screen brightness changed. Okay. So 12/02/2015, obviously that's wrong. I am GMT -6. Okay, you probably have to press another button to get it to go down to the date and time, but I can set that again later. That's not a big deal. I just press the GMT button, and there's that. Okay. Now if I go... Yeah, version 1.05A. And the reason it kind of looks fuzzy on the screen right now is because earlier I had turned the backlight down because the camera's just is blown out in the camera. There we go. Now the camera can see the screen on the radio better. All right. Good. Now it's got version 1.05. 1.05 alpha. So let's try to load the code plug again. See where I go from there. Yeah, that's fine. Right to radio. Hold on. Let me make sure my COM port is set. Yeah, it comes back up as COM 6. That's good. Right to radio. That. Still giving me the band error. So something in my code plug it doesn't like. It doesn't like something in my code plug. I don't know if it's the fact that it's I've got some hotspot frequencies that they're inside of the amateur band down in the 433, 434 range, or if it's I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna have to research on that some, and that's okay. Let me go here. I'm just going to read from the radio again. And I'm going to set, well, see, the current code plug has 435, so that's not what it is. There's something in my code plug it doesn't like, obviously. There. Okay. Awesome. All right. So, a lot of pausing and stopping the record camera and starting it again while I'm figuring this out so I can give the most accurate information. So what I want to do right now is since we've got the firmware updated, is I want to go ahead and do a power output test on all three bands. So we're going to do, now I programmed this, let's do this, 223.5, 223.5, and the power is on turbo. You can choose transmit power, low, high, turbo, that's fine. And then we're going to go next, and I'm going to do 44, let's just do 440. There, still on turbo, and oh no, I want analog, not digital. There we go. Go here, and I want to do 146.52. There, and I want to do that on analog as well. So I'll get the most accurate reading out of my analog meter that I have. So let's write that to the radio. That works. And then we're going to go here. Copy data to the radio. Please wait. Do not power off. Okay. Probably going to be doing a lot of videos on this radio upcoming. This one, I've been waiting for this one for a while, as I said earlier. They pushed it back, but I think it's pretty solid for what it is. Let me turn the brightness down. Okay, there. It can be seen in the... turn the camera. Oh, yeah. I must have bumped it. It can be seen a lot better in the screen now because the screen's just too bright and it washes out the camera. So we're going to go and... VFO mode is by default the P1 button. So I was in VFO mode right there. And I can go... In fact, that's digital VFO mode is what that is. Digital at the top left blue highlighted text says DIG. So we'll try to do that here in a second, maybe. But I want to go to... Okay, so we're going to try 2 meters, 146.52, and this is all on turbo, so this is the highest output power that it does. And I am on a dummy load transmitting, so that's about that's almost 70 watts right there. See the meter at the top of the screen? It's 1.5, maybe 2 ticks over the 50. Yeah, that's almost 70 watts right there. That's good. And then we're going to go to 440.0. And it's almost 50. About maybe 45 watts, which is pretty darn good for 440 in my opinion. And then 220. This is the one in question right here. Yeah, it's only doing... Let's turn this down to 20 watt knob right there. That's only putting out about 5 watts, 5 or 6 watts on 220. Let's go here. Let's go... Okay, analog. Yep, there we go. Now 224.0. Oh, wow. Well, no, that's okay. I'm still on the 20 watt scale, the bottom scale on that watt meter right there. Yeah, so it's outputting about 5 watts on 220. It's supposed to do 25 watts. So 5.7, drawing about 5.7 amps. I didn't look. On 2 meters, which is putting out the most power. Whoa. Turn that up there. Drawing about 10 amps. 65-ish watts, drawing about 10 amps. So there is that. The point of today was to show what the radio looked like, what the firmware update looked like, and what the screen looked like and what the menus look like, and if it would load an 878 code plug, which again, I did a little bit of research after I turned the camera off earlier, and it will, through some hex editing and manipulation, a little bit of manipulation. So go search YouTube for that. I will be doing a video upcoming about that. but I don't have it ready right now because it's going to take a few more steps. I was hoping it, you know, when the TYT MD9600 came out, it would load the MD2017 or the UV380 code plugs. So I was hoping this one would do the same thing, but oh well, such as it is. So put your comments below. Let me know what you think about this radio. Let me know if you have this radio. And thanks for watching. Smash the like button below. I would appreciate it. 73, and we'll catch you next time.